let's continue the conversation. And I say hockey culture because oftentimes I still try and wrap my head around. I grew up in hockey. I grew up in a hockey family. I feel like I understand hockey culture very well. However, sometimes it still leaves me scratching my head. And one of the pieces of hockey culture that a lot of people were wondering about heading into Game 6 was the gag order on PK Subban. PK Subban was not available to the media before Game 6, and some people thought it was an attempt to keep him quiet because he had talked too much nonsense throughout the series. Did you see that? Were you shocked by it? Did you think, ho-hum, this is just another thing to add to the parts of hockey culture that we may or may not understand? And did you agree with it?
I saw it. I noticed it. I didn't agree with it. I still saw Carrie Underwood a lot. I still saw Faith Hill walk out. I still saw some Hollywood with what we saw. I saw Tim McGraw walk in Matt Murray's face. Kelly Rudy pointed out in the second admission, waving a towel like it was no. He was like 2 feet away from clipping Matt Murray with a towel. That's not instigating the enemy? That's not getting the Penguins fired up? That's not doing that? Talking Listerine's the problem? Really? Really?
Well,
really, Nashville?
It's the same.
Really?
It's the same Kelly Rudy who said that it was the Listerine that fired up Sidney Crosby, and it was the constant getting into his face that helped Sidney Crosby awaken from whatever slumber he might have been in.
Then tell PK to shut up when you're winning 2 games. Why didn't they do it then? Why didn't they put the gag order then after games 3 and 4?
Well, because they won both of them.
Whoa, they won both of them.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you're telling me in hockey culture, because I am on the outside looking in. Tim.
I don't know if it's hockey culture. I'm just guessing.
Feels like some odd version of hockey culture. Feels like a weird version of it. So when you're winning, you can have a guy be himself. And you get a goalie who doesn't show up in Game 5, all of a sudden there's gag orders. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, is there a point where there's enough is enough? Like, okay, you had your fun. The Listerine was never said anyway. He just said it to make up for something that he said that he couldn't say.
In my heart, I believe it was said.
Do you think it was said?
Yeah, in my heart, somewhere
I just think he said it because he was being interviewed after a game and asked about a situation that he could not repeat. So he said, yeah, bad breath. But in the end, if you're a member of that team and you think, man, Sidney Crosby's played really well since this Listerine comment, maybe we need to shut him up.
It's not like I love it. It's not that Ryan Ellis can't handle him. No. It's because of the Listerine comment that Sidney Crosby's now burning it up.
Subban matched up a lot. Subban matched up. So this is Game 6. A lot of people were waiting for him.
Understandable.
And Subban never came to his locker, and he's supposed to be made available, and he just never showed up. So people were saying gag order on PK Subban and wondering why the hell they would do that when he is one of the most entertaining players of all to speak to. And the only conclusion that most people can draw is that the rest of the team said, enough is enough. We're playing for the front of the jersey, not the back of the jersey. Stop with the nonsense.
Well, I mean, it's funny, enough is enough. Like a guy like Mike Fisher who's wearing the C. Like he goes 3 rounds without a point.
Right.
When is enough with Mike Fisher? Why are we not looking at these other aspects? I know Ryan Johansson's hurt. It was always going to be tough for Nashville.
Because if they're winning,
why are we not looking at other aspects?
Because if they're winning, they don't care.
And when they lose a game,
One game,
because everyone failed to show up, literally everybody, you're talking too much?
Including the goalie.
There's a level of ignorance in that line of thought that I can barely express without having a censor button right next to me on air. So I'll leave it at this. Nashville lost that series because they weren't good enough.
No, but I don't think anyone's arguing that.
No, but the insinuation is this led to the resurgence of the Greek god that is Sidney Crosby, and it's PK's mouth that ran too much. That's the inference I'm getting from that. But I'm not disagreeing with you. Why wouldn't he come out and not speak before Game 6?
The idea is why provide bulletin board material for a team that you've got against the ropes seemingly after Game 4?
I'm not discounting that. I mean, that happens in a lot more sports than I think we realize. I think it's a real thing, especially nowadays with social media. But to not let him speak before Game 6 is just foolish. I think it was foolish. There are people covering this series because of this guy. There are people watching this game because of a personality, because of an interesting kid. You think most of America's tuning in because they really care what happens to the Preds and the Pens? This is the NHL in the States. Let's not lose sight of this. You need to sell this game. You're not going to have them talk before Game 6 because of perceived locker room stuff? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it was goaltender interference.
Here's if it makes sense. I don't even want to do it. If there's underlying issues with PK Subban
With the guys?
in that dressing room.
I'm not there. You're not there. I can't discount it. I can't discount it. But I really hope getting within 2 wins of a Stanley Cup final would show people that, you know what, once in a while, if you let players kind of be themselves, it ain't the worst thing in the world in this
They
sport.
can help.
Like, they lost their number 1 center. They were still within 2 wins.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a job by Peter Laviolette and that crew.
Yeah.
And by the way, one last thing.
Yeah.
If anyone believes there were 100,000 people outside of Bridgestone last night, I have some swampland in Florida I would like you to buy.
Hold on a second.
There was not 100,000. Shut up with your 100,000 people outside of Bridgestone. Give me a. There was a lot of people. The Luke Bryan shot was great. There was like 40, 50. I'll take that. Don't tell me there's 100. There's a small city outside of That's 2 blocks. So that fills the new camp for a Real Madrid-Barcelona game? That's what you're telling me?
That's 3 blocks.
Give me, okay, maybe 3. But that's still not enough.
Hold on.
100,000 people. Shut your face with that. That's unbelievable.
I'm still trying to. I'm still trying to get past the goaltender interference. How do you know?
I know.
Did you
Have you ever seen a football game at Ohio State?
Yeah, but that's.
You ever seen a soccer game in Barcelona or Madrid?
It's a stadium. It's a horseshoe. It's
Broadway.
no
Listen, I've never been.
It's a horseshoe that's no longer a horseshoe.
It's still 120,000 deep. That horseshoe.
No, the horseshoe is no longer a horseshoe because they put an end on the horseshoe.
Oh, because they put an end on the horseshoe. You're correct. I'm just saying that's not 100,000 people. Let's stop with the lies, people. Let's stop with the lies.
We have the city of Nashville on the line. This is John Smith. Sid, would you like to talk to John Smith from the city of Nashville?
Okay, I don't know what's going on right now. So I'm going to say,
kidding.
okay. I thought we had a guy. I would have the mayor of Nashville. That would have been
If
amazing.
this was a radio show, I would have done that too.
Oh my God!
Listen,
if it gets me a free trip, let's do it.
We're not done with the NHL season. In fact, this offseason is going to be spectacular. In fact, the next couple weeks are going to be spectacular. Check out the schedule starting on Thursday. Expansion. The Vegas Golden Knights
Here we go.
will pour gasoline on the fire that is the NHL offseason. Protection lists are out on the 18th. June 21st, Vegas submits their selections, and we will find out the same day. And the wheeling and dealing should continue all the way through the entry draft, June 23rd and 24th, into free agent. Like the next 2 weeks, if you're a hockey fan that loves the offseason stuff, buckle your seatbelt. And we will be all over expansion and beyond right here on Tim and Sid.